Hello, 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 and welcome to SortaOkay Reviews, where every fandom is welcome. I'm Nathan Bedard.
I'm Brad Newton.
And today we're doing our One Piece chapter review of 907.
Yes, this chapter is called The Empty Throne. And man, I gotta tell you, this chapter, so much stuff happens in this chapter. Like, this has gotta be, at least my top 10 favorite chapters of all time.
Yeah, I love Whole Cake Island, but, it's always nice, after those, arcs, we get the world building and big reveals and stuff like that. But, this is part of that, but it's also its own separate arc. And, every chapter just keeps getting better and better and better. And
we get more and more revelations.
If Oda tops this chapter next week...
it's just, I don't know.
I don't know.
This is, a 10 out of 10 chapter. But let's, stop. Let's just get into it. Let's go through the chapter. So... again, we start off with our cover page, and this, I think, the Orlumbus arc is ending soon. I don't know how far it is into it.
This might be the last one.
Yeah, but, so it looks like Orlumbus just stole his fleet from his king, and he's, saying, he's crying, he's like, thanks for everything. Mm-hmm. And the king's, really, really pissed off, fire, fire, kill them all. But Orlumbus thinks it's a very, sad and emotional goodbye. But we start this week... And before we get to this, right? So we decided to do a theory video. And our theory was going to be, when's Big Mom coming back in the story? And we did a whole 15-minute video on why Big Mom should go to Elbaf, right? So we finished that video. And the night this chapter comes out, the first panel is Whole Cake Island.
Yeah, it's... What makes it even more, heartbreaking is because, I've had this theory in my head for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
So, I could have at least done it, 2 weeks ago, and at least had it out there, and okay, well, that theory didn't pan out. Some people have their theories, and, 2 days later get debunked. But, no, the following night...
a few hours later, after we were done.
We get our theory completely debunked, and we can't
even upload the video now.
Nope.
Alright, but anyway, we cut to Big Mom talking to somebody on Transponder Snail, and she's like, I know Straw Hat's coming to you pretty much, and you know you owe me a huge debt, Kaido. I'm like, we just start off this chapter, 2 of the Yonkos are just talking to each other on the Transponder Snails. Big Mom sticks the knife into Luffy's Wanda poster. She's like, I'm coming for him, he's dead.
And this actually made sense because we thought about it. We thought, okay, maybe she's gonna want to worry about getting her reputation back up another way, or she's gonna wait because she's scared of Kaido. But no, she Big Mom wants to go find Luffy. She's PO'd about them saying that, and
we thought Big Mom was afraid of Kaido.
We thought,
it doesn't seem like it at all now.
No, and now she says he owes him a debt. I wonder. People say Kaido's not human. He's actually a creature.
But I think we should save that more for a theory video, but yeah.
Yeah, I personally do think, too. I think Big Mom and them were together at some point.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more later on in the chapter. So we cut to Kaido, and then Kaido's just like, if you come here, I'm going to kill you. He's like, Straw Hat's mine. I'm going to kill him. But Big Mom responds, she's like... Let's just get along like the old days. And her specifically saying the old days means that they've had some sort of connection in the past, which we'll get to again later on. So we cut to Navy headquarters, and then the Navy's like, yeah, we just wiretapped him, and Kaido's talking to Big Mom, this is a big deal.
Yeah, I like how the Navy yeah, we wiretapped. They went into that conversation. They're just like, oh, hey, there's 2 Yonkos talking over here. Oh, okay, yeah, we know they're doing something.
And then the Vice Admirals are looking super nervous about it. And one of the Vice Admirals says the only ones with enough power to stop them are the Admirals and the Warlords. I'm like, I don't know about the Warlords.
Yeah, I don't know why they said the Warlord. The only one that I could think of
maybe if all of them together teamed up.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know, because the only one that I could think of that would stand a chance is
Hawkeye. Yeah.
And because Boa's not gonna do anything. Really.
Kuma's strong, but
he could possibly.
Maybe if Kuma and Hawkeye together teamed up.
Because we haven't seen Kuma really.
Yeah.
That's
And we don't know how strong Weevil is yet. So
Weevil, yeah.
But there's no way any of the rest of them have
No.
a chance.
And Doflamingo's incarcerated.
Yeah. So Kizaru's just volunteering, which Kizaru's my favorite admiral. So him just going, it's like, I'll go take care of it. He's like, you want me to go separate them? I got this. And Sakazuki's like, he's like, no. He's like, we don't know anything about the samurai. He's like, we don't know how strong they are. They could completely destroy us. We could destroy them, but we just too much unknown right now. So we go back to the red port, and like these Marines are yelling at Garp. They're like, don't you care? Like, these two Yonkos are going after your grandson. Like, this is some serious business. And Garp's just sitting there laughing. He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, because if you think about it, the Navy stated that, like, it took the whole entire Navy to take down a weathered, weaker Whitebeard.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Mom and them, they're not in their prime, but they're definitely not Whitebeard condition.
Yeah.
And they've stated, I think the Navy stated that if two Yonko ever teamed up and tried to fight them, they would lose. Like, they would easily lose.
So, but Garp's sitting there laughing. And just a quick aside, and one of the SBSs, Oda mentioned that these two characters talking to Garp on this page were actually up to be admirals. So I think it's kind of cool that he brought them into the story and made them canon. But yeah, they're still yelling at him and stuff about it. And then he says his exact words were along the lines of, like, Wano's not part of the world government, so we're not going to go there. It's not in our jurisdiction. And then Hina's there. She's like, speaking of Big Mom and Kaido, she's like, you're known as the hero of the Navy because you defeated the captain of what they're calling the Rocks. So apparently the Rocks were this pirate crew that ruled before Roger. So, and I guess that it looks like Big Mom and Kaido were both part of this crew. So that was like the reference earlier in the chapter that Big Mom and Kaido said, let's get together like the old days. So apparently they had a captain that Garp defeated a long time ago.
Yeah, like, I want to know now, like, how strong is Garp? Like, I guess, I think they've stated that Garp could have been an admiral. Like, they've offered him many times.
In episode 0, they said there's a scene where Aokiji, says, like, you're so cool, you just keep turning down your admiral position. So, like, a lot of people consider Garp the strongest person in the Navy.
Yeah, I just don't get an admiral presence with Garp. I want to know what his power is. What makes him... I mean, he's old, too.
His hockey is just crazy.
Maybe.
But, and he's like, there's no use worrying about, things like from the past like that. If it would be a real threat to the world if they were to make a comeback and be an incident far beyond our imagination. So, like, he's like, Big Mom and Kaido get back together, and like, if there's some captain somehow comes out of the shadows and still alive, he's like, we're pretty much all screwed.
Yeah, it's like make their comeback. It's like, shoot, were they?
Apparently, they ruled before Roger's time. So, imagine now, like, if their captain's alive, imagine somebody stronger than Kaido and Big Mom. They come back. That'd be crazy.
And it makes me wonder, like, what did Big Mom do to Kaido to owe him? Like, what did these two Yonko, like...
Yeah, so now we get to the title of this chapter. They showed the empty throne, and this is an obvious Game of Thrones reference. You got all the swords around the throne. Oda watches Game of Thrones.
He's been watching Game of Thrones, and I mean, without making it blatantly clear, like an absolute replica, he really makes it his own. And I think this is what Doflamingo was talking about, the Throne Wars. I don't think it's necessarily the King of the Pirate title.
Yeah.
I think it's this. I think it's who wants to rule this world.
Yeah, after all this war and stuff happens. So Stelly's there, and they're trying to explain to him that he's like, no, you got to make your pledge that you're never going to sit on that throne because all the kings here are equal. But Stelly's greedy ass is just sitting there. It's like, I want to sit there. Mm-hmm. I want that throne. I want to be king of the world. So then we cut back to another part of the reverie, and we have something's going on with Shiroshi.
Yeah, we have this like giant slave by the Celestial Dragons, and the Celestial Dragon that's there is Carlos.
Yeah, Charlos.
Charlos, yes. And we kind of saw this coming last chapter. We saw him looking through the eyeglass. Starshire loved her, but and this is a problem because it's like you can't, even though they're all royalty,
they're still below the Celestial Dragon.
They're still below.
Which we brought up in our last chapter when Shiroshi was declining all the marriage proposals. We're like, well, what would happen if the Celestial Dragon came? So, literally, like, Vivi and Rebecca are all there, like, trying to stop. And then Wapple's there. It's like, I'm not part of this. And, like, Vivi and Rebecca just met Shiroshi, but they're willing to, like, put their country at war essentially to save her.
Yep.
So we got this crazy page going on where we see Charlos, and then Shiroshi's crying, and then like there's no one can do anything. So Leo's like, if you all aren't gonna do anything, I'm gonna do something about it. So Leo goes ahead in charge, and then Sai's like, okay, I guess if Leo's charging, we're doing this. We're brothers now.
Yeah, and even though, like, you know, pretty much besides Luffy, everyone we've met, even though, like, Kid and all them, they don't mess with Celestial Dragons. They know what they're capable of if you make them mad. But I like that, like, Sai and Leo, they're willing to go in because they're part of Luffy's, like, they embody Luffy's.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna save my friends.
And then they get absolutely destroyed the next panel. Like, I initially when I read this, I'm like, who's strong enough to take them out both simultaneously? Like, Leo's getting chopped in the back of the neck, and then Sai gets kicked in the face. And then we see the next page. It's Rob Lucci with CP0s there.
Yep, we finally get Rob. Well, I mean, we've gotten Rob Lucci back many times, but now we get the full panel, and we also get
Kaku and Stussy.
Stussy's back.
And then a guy in a mask who a lot of people think it's Bluno, but I'm not quite convinced.
But yeah, I like that this is pretty much
the new CP9, but CP0 now. They work directly under the Celestial Dragons, so they're kind of like their own separate division now. They can kind of do whatever they want.
And it makes me wonder, like, how much stronger is Rob Lucci?
Yeah, to me, the fight between Lucci and Luffy was kind of a draw, but anyway, we see there, and then like Lucci's talking up the Celestial Dragons. He's saying essentially they're gods, and he's like, whatever a god wants, they get.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting because I mean, Lucci, you know, he'll do the dirty work of the government, but he didn't even take really crap from Akainu, you know,
and like spanned him. Like he seems like he doesn't have content for anybody, like especially people that are weaker than him.
Yeah, and you know, Charlos, he's. You look at him, I mean, even though he's a Celestial Dragon, it's like you would think Rob Lucci would not respect him at all, but he'll listen. But the way he talks him up, it's just like, a little interesting.
And Lucci also mentions, he's like, I just kind of saved an international incident from happening. I took him out before they could do anything to him. So, which is a good point, because they would have destroyed some countries if that would happen. But Neptune's fed up. He's like, I've had it. He's like, I've tried to be diplomatic. He's like, I'm sorry to my wife. I'm sorry that we're just going to live in the seas. Like, I'm about to cream this Celestial Dragon.
Yeah, that whole dream just immediately, like, goes.
He's like, because his daughter is about to be taken as a slave.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't care. Like, he's like, I'm sorry to my wife. And if Neptune would have done anything, Lucci would have killed him right there. Like, I thought Neptune might die right here, because Lucci was standing right there. But we get, somebody intervenes, and this panel is hilarious. It's almost the exact same panel Charlot's getting punched the first time back in Sabaody. And then this guy ends up being like, who did it? Like, everyone's like, who would have possibly hit a Celestial Dragon? Well, another Celestial Dragon, it turns out.
And this is good because now this is starting to give us some more information, because it's like, okay, we know that if anyone hits a Celestial Dragon, bad crap happens. But if another Celestial Dragon hits them, even if it makes them look bad, can they really do anything?
Yeah.
I mean...
But he introduces himself. Lucci's just kind of standing there bewildered, like, okay, like, I can't do anything about this. It's another Celestial Dragon. And then he introduces himself to King Neptune, saying, you probably forgot who I am, but he's like, you saved me once. And this guy, I still kind of don't really know who he is, but he was back in Fishman Island. I think he was only in a chapter or two. But Otahime, like, saved him, and she got, like, shot protecting this guy. And she said, she taught me what it is to be human. And his name is revealed to be Don Quixote Mosgard.
Yeah, so he's related to Doflamingo, which is very interesting. And, I mean, this also leads the path to some, like, okay, when stuff starts to go down, they're going to need a way out, and I think he's going to definitely help them escape if anyone needs to escape. And also, it's like now we have somebody on the inside.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this was a big reveal, and then, like, okay, now we get this next panel.
And then it's like, Oda's like, he's like, you know, we got Kaido, we got Big Mom this chapter. He's like, you know, we got all this stuff with Shiroshi, Celestial Dragons, Rob Lucci. You know, you think this chapter would be enough, right? But Oda's like, I got one more thing for you. This is like, you know, the after credits scene.
Yeah.
One more thing.
we see like, okay, the 5 elders, cool. The like we don't know too much about them,
and we know they're the leaders of the world and they run the world government essentially. And they're saying, it's like, what are you doing here? They're talking to this guy in a cloak. They're like, what are you doing here? It's like, we're in the middle of the reverie right now. We got to focus on that. The only reason we're talking to you is because it's you.
It's you, like, and it's Shanks.
Yeah, and he's like, all soldiers leave the room, and Shanks says, I want to talk about a certain pirate. Now, this pirate, to me, it could be one of two people. It's either Blackbeard or it's Luffy. Either he wants to protect Luffy from all the shit that's about to rain down on him, or he knows Blackbeard's up to something and he wants the world government to know about it.
I think there could be 3 options. I think that it could be the simple, like, one, like, oh, it's Luffy. I don't know. I don't really see it being Luffy too much because it's like, hey, you want it, like, why would he sell anything about Luffy?
There's a third option. It could be the captain of the rocks, because that's what they set up in this chapter. So it could be the captain of Big Mom and Kaido's old crew.
And you were telling me before we did this video, Oda said there's going to be a living legend that comes back into the story.
Yeah.
And he just stayed the rocks, and then he says a certain pirate. Maybe we're just gonna immediately find out something about him, or it could be
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard, because Blackbeard, of course, stole Whitebeard's devil fruit, which immediately made him a Yonko and a force to be reckoned with. So it's like, okay, if he keeps stealing, if he's hunting devil fruits and stealing them and being able to use them, like, that's seriously bad. Because what if at some point Blackbeard is able to use his devil fruit, if Kaido has
like
one,
a plethora of other
Big Mom's, he would be unstoppable, and even the world government would need, like, hey, you need to take a look at this, like, we need to do something about this.
So it could be that, but anyway, like, this chapter, again, like I said, this maybe even top 5 chapters of all time, like at least top 10. I mean, this chapter just keeps so much stuff.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better and better, and sadly, it seems like, we've heard some of Oda's editors say that it's gonna be like 10. Reverie's gonna be like 10 chapters.
I mean, I kind of get why though. Like, stuff's moving along quick.
Yeah, which is good though, because like we said, I mean, every chapter just keeps getting better and better and better.
And so much stuff's in each one of these chapters.
Yeah, and One Piece is long. I love One Piece. I would read it for the rest of my life if I could, but I mean, we do gotta kind of start speeding some things up.
Yeah.
And clearly, though, it's showing that it's good. I'm liking it. I'm liking going at a fast pace, because these chapters have just been so fun to read these last few weeks.
Yeah. Again, like this. There's not only so much praise you give a chapter, but man, this was great. So. But I think that's going to do it for our review today.
Yep, good thing is no break next week, so we're going to have another chapter. But that's going to do it for us today. We hope you enjoyed it. Of course, if you love One Piece, make sure you click that subscribe button, because we're going to keep doing One Piece content. We have many things to plan. And as soon as we hit 50 subscribers, there's a giveaway. So make sure you hit it.
Yep, and as always, hit that subscribe button. That'll pop up right there, and last week's review will be right here.
All right. Thank you very much, and have a good day.